Scott Hastings, former NBA player, Nuggets TV color analyst. He was on site for Game 1 with the Lakers and the Nuggets. Before I get to that, do you still hold an NBA record?
Dan, I do, and I know you're a bit proud of me, although you try to act like you're not. For slugs like me in the NBA, we grasp at any straws we can hold on to.
All right, let my audience know what NBA record you hold.
Well, I'm at the other end of the spectrum of Chris Paul, and I own the NBA record of most consecutive games without a steal. But there's two parts of this record that's impressive.
Okay.
One, it's 54 games. Two, it went across 3 different seasons. So that right there, that listen, I've got kids that love me. I have 4 children that love me. And none of them were old enough to ever see me play, really. So they just get to see the cool pictures of, me blocking Dr. J's shot or, Michael Jordan or whatever. They don't know about the record.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
but it is a pride. I do. Hey, I do hold a little pride of that. Listen, come on, Dan. I hold a little pride of
that. And then I think you started 19 games in your career. 12 years, you started 19 games. Is that the fewest games started by somebody
who played 11 years
and
was never waived? Yeah. And I'll be real honest with you. I actually am very proud of the fact that I played 11 years, averaged like 2 points, and was never waived. I mean, that's kind of hard to do. Right?
You know what you were, Scott? You were the heart and soul of the teams that you played on.
I really was.
Yes, lunch pail guy, first in, last out. Took care of your body. Okay.
Remember, Dan, that was the beer and hot dog era of the NBA. That was a whole different time.
All right, let's go back to last night. If you're the Nuggets, how do you feel about getting that win?
That was very typical, to be honest with you, of a number of wins this year. If Denver has in my opinion, an Achilles heel, if you will, is they when they think the game's gotten easy, they kind of go, and I've seen them do that before where they're up 15, 18, 20, 24, and all of a sudden here comes the starters have to come back in and rescue. And if you look at the numbers, they're one of the best closing teams in the NBA throughout the season. The problem is you're in the Western Conference Finals and you're playing against one of the best, if not arguably the best team the last third of the season in all of the NBA. And that's a dangerous recipe. The good that came out of it, in my opinion, you were talking about this going into break a while ago, or coming back into break, with Hachimura coming over and they did this and they said, had a little success. I got you. They also showed their hand of what's going to happen for game 2.
Sure.
And instead of that coming out of game 2 and maybe shocking Denver and themselves pulled a big lead, I think Denver just got 48 hours to prepare for Hachimura on Joker instead of Anthony Davis.
Yeah, that's a great point. If you were going to describe the Joker's game to somebody who hadn't seen him.
I'm going to give you 2 stories. I went to Vlade Divac. It was probably Joker's second year of starting or playing quite a bit. And I get to see him every night. I've called or been involved in every single game of Joker's career, and I went to Vlade because he reminded me of Vlade. And I asked him, I said, and this was at halftime, I said, Vlade, you're the only guy that reminds me of. And he goes, oh, he's already better than me. This is like his second year in the league before he got all the accolades. We're in London playing a game, and Isaiah Thomas played with Detroit. I tell him before the game, I said, watch this kid. I think this kid's going to be the best player that's ever played for the Denver Nuggets. I said, he reminds me of Vlade. I don't know, maybe a younger supposed, but let's be honest, Dan, you were covering the game. Oh, there's my daughter. Say hello to Mr. Patrick. There you go. Only on the Dan Patrick show. But I said, Isaiah, watch this guy because I think he's the best that's ever going to play for the Nuggets. And I said, see who he reminds you of. And we came back and put him on the show in the third quarter. And then we said, who do you think? And he goes, he reminds me of Magic Johnson. So I've
Wow.
seen some comparisons of that from an early part in his career. And I would say this. Remember when anybody comes out that's good, Dirk Nowitzki came out, and I remember the draft. I was working for Turner during the draft, and everybody said, well, he's a Larry Bird. He's a Larry Bird type. All these guys get compared to guys until they do what they do and what Joker's doing. And now it's time for everybody to start comparing, themselves to Joker. I don't think he's like anybody. He's got a little magic. He's got a little bit of Bill Russell rebounding wise. He's got a little bit of touch of a Tim Duncan, who, by the way, was his favorite player growing up in Europe. He's Nikola Jokic. I'm telling you, we had Dan Issel on my radio show yesterday. Dan Issel already said he's the best Nuggets ever played. Dan Issel's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I told people that this is a great time to be able to watch him play because he's not a highlight guy. He's a game guy. And there's certain guys who are like that you watch the game and then you go, okay, I get it. Because if you don't, it's like Kawhi Leonard. You watch Kawhi Leonard and you're going, all right, no highlights. But watch him during a game and you go, okay, I get it. Controls the tempo. And I think Joker does that. We're talking to Scott Hastings, the Nuggets TV color analyst, former NBA player. I was also wondering about this with the altitude. When you play in you're going to be playing in a series in a city, like obviously Denver. Is there less of an impact or more of an impact with the altitude on the Lakers?
I think there's more, and I think statistics have kind of proved that through the year and the analytics of blood science and stuff like that. I will say this. I don't know if you guys have talked about this. I thought last night was one of the, if not the most important game of the series. LA had won every game in the series. This is going to be the only game, either team, but Denver, last time I looked, doesn't have a guy with 20 years on his legs. But it's going to be the only team that everybody's going to be rested, because now every game now goes every other day, with travel in between games 2 and 3 and travel in between games 4 and 5, 5 and 6, whatever. And I thought it was important for Denver to win the game by hook or by crook, because now it's going to be fast and furious. And I think that side's better with guys that are in their, mid-20s than late 30s.
You played, well, at least you were at games.
I watched.
When Jordan played, when Bird played, when Magic played. Any favorite story? You got a story out of any of those three?
Man, I'm going to tell you one quick one. This Jordan's Jordan, right? Jordan's still Jordan. 30 years later, Jordan's still Jordan. I'm with the Miami Heat. I'm an OG. I was on the expansion team. And we're playing in Chicago. And Jordan comes off a pick about 16 feet, elbow extended. I come off the hedge. He pulls up a jumper. I catch it and block it. And it goes out of bounds. Baby, bang, horn blows. I'm getting subbed out. So I go to the bench, and I'm thinking, Scott Hastings, I just blocked Michael Jordan's jump shot. Hey, I'm going over. I come down, sit down, not a peep. I don't get a pat on the butt from the coaches. I don't get a, attaboy.
You woke him up?
I don't get nothing. I get down and sit there, get some water, get a towel, rub my face, sit down, still nothing. Now I'm stewing. I mean, Scotty, I finally get up after sitting down on the bench about 30 seconds, and I faced the whole bench. I'm standing on the court, and I said, tell Michael Jordan to get that out of there. The whole bench, and including the coaching staff, fall out in the middle of the game. Now, we're expansion team who won 15 games. They fall out in the middle of the game because somebody had set up, hey, let's see how long it takes for Hastings has to say something for blocking the shot. So, yeah, listen, I played a great era. Charles and I have had a lot of fun with the TNT stuff, and we had some rivalries when he was with Philly and I was with Detroit. I got to play against Bird. I've become okay friends when Kevin McHale took over for Minnesota. I got to talk to him all the time. I played a great era. played, I got to watch some, and you were covering those games,
Yeah.
man. You know,
Yeah.
it was some of the greatest individual and teams that will ever play, period.
You are second all time, I think, with fewest starts. Yeah, Paulie.
Minimum 500 games played in NBA history. Scott Hastings has 19 starts. That's second all-time fewest starts to Scotty Brooks, 680 games played, 7 starts.
Okay.
And I would have been a better coach
Then Scotty Brooks?
Oh, come on now.
Okay.
Come on now.
All
Yeah.
right. All right.
No, I'm just kidding. Scotty's a good dude. But somebody could look it up. I think I was probably 18 in one of my starts. or better yet, don't look it up, and let's just say that for future appearances.
Yeah.
18-1 in his 19 starts.
Not bad. Not bad. You're still doing it, though. Still entertaining. Yeah.
Dan, you got such a special show. My daughter and now my cat has jumped up on my lap. So, I mean, only on the Dan Patrick Show.
Good to talk to you. We'll catch up with you again.
90% of my day, and I'm on a national show, and I get them. Now they love me.
Thank you, Scott.
I love you, man.
Scott Hastings, Nuggets TV color analyst, former NBA player. He was a member of the 1990 NBA champion Pistons.